at all. I'm so happy I could eat you up, I really could. You know what I'd like to do, Mr. Todd? What I dream is the business size is good, where I'd really like to go in a year or so. Don't you want to know?
Of course.
Do you really want to know?
Yes, I do.
By the sea, Mr. Todd, that's the life I'd carve it. By the sea, Mr. Todd, oh, I know you'd love it. You and me, Mr. T, we could be alone in a house where we'd almost own down by the sea.
Anything you say.
Wouldn't that be smashing? Think I'd snug it'll be underneath our flannel.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Fiberista Files. Today is Thursday, I think, July 30th, 2015. I'm your host, Heather, also known as Fiberista Files on Instagram and Twitter, and Boutros Babe on Ravelry and Plurk. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. If you're brand new, how's it going? You can find the shop at shop.highlandhandmades.com, the podcast at thefiberistafiles.com. We have a group on both Ravelry and Facebook. Just search Highland Handmades there, and I'm around, so stop in, say hi. All right. Because it has been only 1 week since I last recorded, I don't have as much content today, but I'm gonna have a book review for you this episode. There will be a giveaway per Cooperative Press's request. So we shall do that. Not much has gone on in the past week. Getting back into the swing of things, doing a lot of work. It has turned hot here finally, and in Maine it's never just hot, it's always hot and muggy. Muggy is the word, which I've just recently found out has Norse origins. Who knew? Anyway, it's in the low 90s, which is usually as hot as it gets. It doesn't get 100 degrees every summer. But the humidity is anywhere from 60 to 85 to even 90%. Like, it's a very thick air mass. I haven't been doing much exercising because I can't breathe outside. So there's been not a lot of that. I've been walking the dog, but even right now, it's too hot even right now to walk him. He's a black dog and the pavement is too hot. So everything in the house is closed. All the windows are shut. And as soon as I'm done recording, the air conditioner will go back on and it will be good. We need the air conditioner about 10 days a summer, 10 days a year, really. But Paul works outside all day and he really appreciates having a cool, dry air mass when he gets home. So that's what I do. What can I say? I will say that the club fiber and yarn is drying right now. I wish I could show it to you, but I can't spoil you guys before the club members get theirs. But this month's colorway was yellow, and I switched out a color at the last second, a shade I should say, because obviously I was yellow. But I'm intensely happy with how this month turned out. A lot of people don't go for yellow. A lot of people think that they can't wear it because of their skin tone, or they just don't like the color or whatever, and I aim to change a few minds with this month's color, so I'm really excited about that. I've been this excited about a color since I don't think I've been this excited about a color. Brown was a bit of a challenge, and it didn't come out like I thought it would, so that was more anxiety induced because I didn't know what people would think. I did like the Coruscant, the teal colorway. That was a good one. I was pretty excited about that one. But this one I love. But I'm also a fan of yellow. So, all right. The big thing is that it has not yet happened. But tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, I will be signing on the dotted line for my property by the coast. I know! It has taken forever to get to this point, and it's just land. I cannot even fathom how long it will take somebody to buy a house, because this is ridiculous. But things were slowed down by the fact that the mortgage or loan officer, or whatever you want to call her, she took vacation the week before Paul and I went to SSK in Nashville. And so there were 2 weeks right in the middle of our offer being good that were basically useless. But we have everything we need and all the paperwork signed, and I have the money in my account thanks to you all, and we're going to buy land 5 miles from the ocean. I'm getting out of here. I'm so excited. I've already told Paul that Friday afternoon when we're done signing the paperwork and we've shaken all the hands and we have climbed back into the van, I'm going to burst into tears. Like, this has been a huge emotional, like, overwhelm for me. I'm not going to get emotional now, though. It's not going to happen. I am not an emotional person. Katie can tell you this because every time she cries, I'm like, Jesus, Katie, what are you? I'm always making fun of her for crying at everything. I'm not a crier. But this gets me. I have never owned a house or land. This house is Paul's house, and I'm not actually on the deed. There's no point in me spending the money to put me on the deed. But this is the first thing that I will have purchased in that area. And I don't know why that's such a big deal for me. Like, what does it matter really? But it just does. And it's a one step further towards my dream of having my own studio and being in a community that is fiber friendly and, being closer to my friends and being intentional about where I am and not just blooming where I'm planted, which is all I've done my entire adult life between college and then getting an apartment close to work. And then, I met Paul and moved in with him because there was no point in paying for an apartment when I was basically living here anyway. And this is where he lived. Like, I've never chosen my place before. And so I'm really excited about it. We've saved the money. I did have one big sale. I raised quite a bit of the down payment for the property, and you guys were phenomenal. I had a quarter of the down payment in like the first 3 days after I posted it. It was amazing. No surprise to you, I'm sure, that the knitting community is wonderful. And then between shows and my husband's excellent financial management, because I'm decent at making the money, it's hanging on to the money that I have troubles with sometimes. But between the two of us, we have the money to make the down payment. And the monthly payment is like $100 a month. We spend that in Dunkin' Donuts coffee in a month. So I'm not concerned about the monthly payment, at least until we start researching home buying or home building, I should say, and all that's going to entail. So we're not quite through the woods yet, but this first hurdle is almost done. So be thinking of me tomorrow at 5 as I'm sobbing into my Subway napkins in my van because I'm out of tissues. Don't pretend like you don't have a pile of Subway napkins in your glove box, because you do. We all do. It's a thing. Okay, anyway, moving on. I'm not going to get emotional. Spinning and knitting. I've basically been monogamous this week, which is highly unusual for me, but I wanted to get this done. I have some design work that I need to be working on for Penny. I had cast this on while I was on my way to SSK because I needed something that was car knitting. And you can't really design while driving, or I can't, because I can't read and write a lot in the car without getting really car sick. So I needed something that it could have a pattern, but it has to have a quick direction. It has to have like a quick knit to the end, then do this, and just one quick sentence I can look down and then be fine. So what I cast on was the Shield Maiden Shawl by Emily Estrada of Fibertown Designs. And it is done. It has not been blocked, so it is still really curly. I'll show you the end. It's probably a little bit easier. And the ends have not been woven in. This is from hand spun that I did. It is a 2-ply of politically incorrect fibers bat, one night stand bat in the Colton colorway, which is creepy because there's a boy named Colton who lives around the corner. I shouldn't say boy. He might be 19 or 20 now. But when I spun this, he was still a minor. And a one-night stand bat with the name of a minor boy that lives... Then I bought another one, and that one's named Jasper. And lo and behold, I had a student named Jasper my last year teaching. No. I just... The third bat that I bought from her, his name was Paul. And I stopped buying bats from her at that point because it was just getting too creepy. So anyway, I have a Paul bat that I haven't yet spun. I'm all handsy today. I'm sorry if that's freaking you out. So back to the Shield Maiden shawl. So you knit the edging this way. So you cast on just 15 or just a couple stitches. Increase 15 stitches. Do the pattern for 15 stitches like 80 times. You can see it starts to change color. And then you pick up the edge near the, you can see where I picked it up. Maybe. Anyway, you pick up the edge and knit up from there. And so you actually, it's a bottom up shawl, although you knit the edging first, if that makes sense. The way Emily has her edge stitch slipped, the way she described the slip, and I'm not giving anything away, really made it easy to pick stitches up, including her directions for how to pick up those stitches. Really made it brainless. And she had a specific number of stitches to pick up, and I was like, ain't no way I'm going to get that number. And I did. And it just happened. It was magic. So it's a great pattern. Very quick knit. Very, very, very quick knit. In the middle here is this pattern of yarn overs. And the yarn overs are in the shape of, or supposed to be in the shape of, a lucet, which is a tool for making square rope. And there's a whole explanation for it in the pattern. It was just enough to keep those rows from being really boring, so I appreciated that. And I think you could see that I got through from the blue all the way through the white, and then here at the top I'm just getting back into the pink. If I flip this over, you'll see I spun 2 color gradients. So I went from blue to white, so blue to pink to white, and then I spun another one, blue to pink to white. And so I basically had half, and you can see that's my ends from where the 2 changed. I wasn't at the end of the row, so when I spin hand spun and it's on 2 bobbins, I just tie a knot. And what I do with the knot is I make sure that it has a nice long tail. And when I'm all done knitting, because the knot stays in the back of the fiber, when I'm all done knitting, I unpick the knot and then just weave in those ends. I don't have to stop at the end of a skein, and I can just keep going, and it's easy. So as this is bottom up, you can see I was almost done with this. So had I had to stop halfway through, I could have. But it wasn't necessary because I had enough yarn. Fortunately, that means I have a lot of yarn left over. Like a crap ton of yarn left over. I really thought this was going to use the whole thing, but I was wrong. So I don't know what to do with that leftover yet. It will go in my basket of leftovers, and who knows what will happen to it then. And that is obviously hanging out in my Girl Cave Bags Tootsie Pop bag. Have you seen the inside of this bag? Did I show you this bag? I don't even remember. Don't zip the knitting. I shouldn't have packed that so full. So the inside are the Tootsie Pop flavors. So clever. I love Girl Cave bags. Love them. Okay. Basically, the rest of what I've been doing has been spinning, because the Tour de Fleece effort that I made, which was abridged by the entire trip to SSK, aside from that, my mojo is back, and I'm really loving it. My hips are not, because sitting and spinning does affect my hips because I spin on the couch, which is not good posture. Whatever. Paul and I are big into watching the A-Team right now on Netflix. I know I've watched it before, but I was like 3. I had a huge love affair with Mr. T. I was going to marry him. I ate Mr. T cereal, wore Mr. T sweatshirts. There's photographic evidence of this. I was going to marry Mr. T, and so that he would share his jewelry with me. I love Mr. T. Anywho, so we're watching the A-Team, and it's kind of funny because I really actually enjoy it. Like, it's funny, and despite being an early 80s TV show, like, the plots were decent. I mean, it's a TV show, so the settings, like, are recycled. Some of the vans and towns and whatnot, like, the sets get reused. But aside, I mean, I probably wouldn't notice that had I watched it once a week when the show came out. But being able to watch 2 or 3 episodes a night has made that abundantly clear. But we're still really enjoying it. Murdoch's a hoot. Anywho, so I've been doing a lot of spinning while we're watching the A-Team. I spun the Something Wicked Fiber Optic Gradient, which is a merino silk blend. I got 194 yards of Navajo plaid yarn. And I'm going to show it to you. Are you ready? Shapow. Ooh. Ah, look how pretty that is. Now, I call this a gradient, even though it's two different colors, because it goes from this purple, violet, to black, and on the other end, it goes from this bright green to black. So a gradient is in art when you add white or black to a color. So it's a shade. So just going blue, pink, red is not a gradient. You've got to add black or add white. It's a matter of intensity of color. And that's why it burns my noodle when I see a 3-color skein and it's not called a progressive, it's called a gradient, and it's not a gradient. I know that's pedantic, but I am an English major, and words have a specific purpose, and you should be precise in your language. Just saying. It's not a rant. It's not a rant. Just something that you need to know about me. So anywho, I spun this on my Acreworks bobbin and plied it up. It did take 2 bobbins to ply onto. I might have been able to fit it all on the Acreworks bobbin, but I really didn't want to push it. I really would like someday to have a bulky setup for my Kromsky, or to get an e-spinner with a bulky setup, because that would be delicious. This spun well. It plied really well. I really am enjoying it tremendously. And this said it was 114 grams, but it weighed about 121 grams. This is a heavy yarn. Like, you can see it's got a lot of drape because of the silk, and it really feels heavy and dense in my hands. I have not yet soaked this. That's on today's agenda. I'm going to soak it, and hopefully it will fluff up. I don't have any room on my drying rack right now because the club is there. But I've also spun this, and this isn't going to look like anything to you. Again, on my Acreworks bobbin. I freaking love this bobbin. You're gonna be so sick of me saying I love this bobbin, but I loves it. In fact, I've already asked Paul to get me one for Christmas because I love it so much. If my dog barks, I apologize, but Maggie, the bulldog across the street, is barking, and sometimes Jax barks at her. So this is looks like undyed fiber, and in fact, it is. It is this. It is from my friend Marta Schmarta, who sent this to me. It contains Lucy, the Cormo sheep, blended with Abelard, the French Angora rabbit. So, from martaschmarta.com. Come on. Oh, no, I don't have autofocus on. Hang on. There it goes. martaschmarta.com. And it's this really beautiful, lovely cloud of sort of grayish ecru fiber. But underneath it, something a little different. I don't know if I'll be able to get down there enough for you to see it. It doesn't look like I'll be able to. Nope, I can't. Underneath here are 4 packs of Into the World samples. This particular sample is Godswood, which is a 50-25-25 merino bamboo silk blend. And Into the World gives these adorable little sample packs of fiber. And in there are cards that are hand-spun tags. If you haven't opened these and checked those out, those are hand-spun tags, and you should use them. Anywho, so what I did, I spun all 4 of these congruently, not congruently, congruently, one right after the other in a line. So there's 4 different fibers. There's Masham, Polworth, this merino bamboo silk blend, and English Shetland. Masham, Polworth, Shetland, yeah, and this one. And they're all under there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wind this off into a center pull ball and ply from both ends so that I have one dyed single and this undyed single together as a 2-ply. If there is more of the undyed or the dyed stuff, which I think it'll be about even, there might be a little bit more of the undyed, then I'll just break it there. And then I'm going to spin the rest of this just like I did this bit here and ply this. So I'll have a 2-ply that's plain and a 2-ply that's got a little bit of color to it. and I don't know yet what I'm going to do with them, but that's my plan. I like to use up odd bits and ends and odd bits, and especially when I've done, like with the fiber optic, when I've done a more full-on project that has, I was trying to be consistent and spin the whole 4 ounces and wait the day to apply. And then when I've done a bigger project, I like to break it up with small little just playing around bits. So that's what I'm doing. Then next on the wheel after that is going to be this Tunis or thespinningloft.com. I won years ago a box of fiber samples from Nitty. Nitty was the one holding the contest, and the fibers came from thespinningloft.com. All kinds of different breeds. There's even Kiviot and cashmere in there. There's a little bit of everything. And Tunis is one of the breeds. And this is a nest. I combed this into top. I got about 35 grams of this, and this is combed top. It looks like roving, but I used my Indigo Hound Viking wool combs and I combed it. And I'm going to try spinning this very soon. It feels very much like Shetland. Like it's a little softer than Corriedale, so it feels a little bit like Shetland. Tunis is a really interesting fiber. And the first fleece I saw of this ever was at this year's Maryland Sheep and Wool. And I thought, not sure about that. But now that I've worked with it a little bit, I think maybe I might try it sometime. Tunis fleece doesn't divide into real specific locks. They're just kind of chunks of fiber, really indistinct, no good lock formation, no real crimp distinction. There was a little bit of crimp in some of this, but I think some of the fiber I came from was from an area like near the armpit or under the chin or somewhere where there's a finer wool, because there were some finer sort of curly bits. But most of this is indistinct lock formation, indistinct crimp, real blocky, fuzzy stuff. And it does have a lot of bounce. Now, this is a worsted prep, and I'm going to spin it worsted, and I'm pretty sure that this wool will still have a lot of bounce because the fibers in their crimp don't lay on top of each other in a lock like you would get with a Cotswold or a Leicester long wool or something like that. They're all just kind of wet spaghetti in there already. So combing them really isn't going to line them all up. It's just not. So I'm really looking forward to that. I might try and actually do that tonight before I apply that other one. We'll see how it goes. So that's what I've been spinning. All of the fiber information on this Tunis, I've already done Oxford, Navajo Churro, and Southdown. Those are all on the blog at highlandhandmades.com if you want to read them, and I will be adding this to the blog as well. I don't write on the blog very much because I communicate with you this way and via Instagram mostly, but I like to have that as a record. So you can check that out if you want, highlandhandmades.com. I'm drinking water out of my Keep Calm and Put Your Flip-Flops On. Dye pots. So this week I've been doing the club, and I'm just waiting for that to dry. It takes a little bit longer in the high humidity. Gotta know, that's just what happens. But I have some stuff going into the shop as soon as I edit the pictures and get them in the shop. What I have going into an update immediately, if not sooner, is a butternut DK and black ash worsted, both done in multiples big enough for sweater lots. So there's anywhere from 3 to 5 skeins of each of those colorways of both the butternut DK and the black ash worsted. And I have some bats going in the shop as well as club members. I have some extras from June's club as well. So that's what's going in there. After that, I'm going to have some more fiber. I did a little post about Cheviot fiber on the Facebook page yesterday, and I have some undyed Cheviot that will be getting dyed shortly. I do not know, maybe tomorrow, if I can get this club out of here. So if you were intrigued by the Cheviot write-up I did on Facebook, you can go check it out in the Highland Handmades group, and hopefully there'll be more of that in the shop soon. There is still some in the shop right now. So that's what's going on. I'm still uploading Waifs and Strays from SSK. Waifs and Strays, if you've not heard it before, is just the term I used for not full die lots. If I do die lots of 3, that's what fits in my pans. And if I have 1 or 2 leftovers, like if somebody bought one but didn't buy the other ones, then those ones go in the shop. Because I like to have a full booth when I vend, so I keep the full die lots, and then the rest goes into the shop. Which, there's nothing wrong with them, they're not full die lots. So I also have the Mountain Laurel, the Mountain Maple Sock, which is the 100% Superwash BFL, which was out of the shop, and then in the shop, and then out of the shop, is going back in the shop as well. I just have to rewrite those listings. That's a really fun sock yarn. I don't know why it's not selling terribly well right now, but it's a great sock yarn. So that'll be in the shop too. I don't know when this update will go live. Look for the post on Instagram. It will probably happen either tonight or tomorrow morning early. It just remains to be seen what happens. If we get a thunderstorm this afternoon and I have to get off the computer, then it won't happen tonight. Or if we decide to go to the lake, go for a swim, probably won't happen tonight. Just saying. It's hot out. I love it. I love the heat. I would stay out there all day if I wouldn't, have sunstroke and break out into hives and be miserable. I wish I could. Unfortunately, the sun and I are not good bedfellows. Oh, speaking of, I don't know why bedfellows made me think of this. Totally unrelated. I swear. Ooh, I'm blushing now because that was really weird. I was thinking of romance, I think, anywho. My friend Penny Reed, who writes romance novels, she is now officially a USA Today best-selling author. She broke the USA Today's list at number 86 this week with her newest book, Truth or Beard, which is on sale pretty much everywhere. Amazon, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, everywhere. This is one of the books that I edited. I do editing work for Penny, and I am thrilled for her. I'm over the moon for her. She deserves this. Her books are funny and intelligent and steamy and all of the best things that a book should be. And if you haven't checked her out yet, you should. And if you love the books as much as I did, message her and tell her. She has a group on Facebook as well. She also has a fan group called the Sharks of Awesome, which is on Facebook. If you are already a Penny fan, you should join the Sharks. And I'm over there too. We have good times. Okay, so congratulations, Penny. Has nothing to do with bedfellows. I really don't know where that came from. All right, growth and processes. I applied to Ply Magazine because their deadline is tomorrow, and I have not yet applied to the Maryland Sheep and Wool. I'm just waiting on some photos to come from Snapfish. The Ply Magazine application could be emailed, but the Maryland Sheep and Wool application has to be physically mailed in. So I'm waiting for my pictures to come from Snapfish. I don't want to print pictures anymore. And the Rite Aid that I used to work at that has our photo department, their photo editors are kind of stinky. So I edited the photos here with my photo editing software and then sent them to Snapfish, and Snapfish will give me nice matte, beautiful pictures back. So those will go off of every teeny tiny thing that I can do that might make them say yes, I'm going to do. So if I were to get into both of those, that would be April is Plyaway, May is Maryland Sheep and Wool, June is Fiber Frolic. Those would be 3 bigger shows in 3 months. That would be amazing. Amazing. It would also be a lot of work. So it may be something that I need to hire somebody to help me a little bit, or borrow my very wonderful friends who have always said they don't mind helping me. Cough Katie, cough Monica, cough Alicia. We don't know yet exactly how that's all going to work, but I'm excited for the opportunities. I don't know when I'll know about Maryland Sheep and Wool. I don't know when they tell people. JC has said that she will try and get the notices out within a month of the close of the date. So hopefully by the beginning of September, I'll be able to tell you. I have hopes. I have no expectations. There's going to be, I think she said 40 vendors, and I don't know how many people are applying. And her job is to make the absolute best market possible for the attendees. So I don't know if I'll be included in this. I don't really want to hold you right now. Apparently my wishes don't matter. Brick says hi. So that's growth. For processes, I'm still stuck with this section, guys. I need you to tell me what you want to hear because I don't have anything. Oh, you know what? No, that's a total lie. I can tell you one process that I have. Let me move some stuff here. So my husband bought me, I don't know what that was. Oh, that was Katie's baby shower invitation. My husband bought me this journal a while ago, and I'm really bad at journal writing. Like, I write for a day, and then I forget it for 6 months, and then I write for another day. Like, I'm just not a journal writer. However, I read an article about a week ago by Amy King of Spunk Eclectic about bullet journals. Did I already tell you about this? I don't think I did. Anyway, so I went to bulletjournal.com, which is the official website, and watched the video, and it tells you really about how a bullet journal is different from, like, today I went to the store, blah, 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 and how it basically organizes your whole life in one event. So you start with an index, and this is where you put your, like, what page everything is on. There's nothing on my index yet because I don't have anything on there. I did color code some stuff. So here are my color codings. Pink stuff is HH related, blue stuff is chores, orange is personal, and green is financial. And usually the green stuff just has I put a green money sign next to the other things that cost money. So then you do your month. And I'm trying not to get so close that you could see all this, but you put the number of the day and the day of the week. And then you, over here, put down the things you want to get done for the month. Like, my very first thing that I have is to photograph the shop stock. So everything that I have that came back from SSK that's going in the shop needs to be photographed. That's not checked off yet because it's not done. However, I did dye the club, so that's done. And that's all I have for that. So I've done one thing. Now I just started this on July 27, so it's not like it's been a lot. So anyway, that's that. And then you turn the page and you have your daily to-do list. Now, without getting too clear onto it here, you can see that I have stuff in all different colors. Most of it's either pink or blue, and there's a little bit of orange. The pink is business stuff, and the blue are chores. I'm not a housewife. I work from home. Unfortunately, that means that before I can do my work, sometimes I have to do chores. You can see my clean dishes right there. I dye in my kitchen. All my dye stuffs are over here. That's my dyes. Those are the pots. That's my bucket that I rinse yarn in. My dye pans are right there. You can see my blue gloves. This is all where my dye stuff is. That's my kitchen. I dye out of my kitchen. So I can't have 2 sinkfuls of dirty dishes before I dye yarn. It just doesn't work that way. So chores are in there too. And I try and they basically get done concurrently. Like, I'll wash a load of dishes, and then while those dry, I start dyeing. And then while my stuff is in the oven, I might change over a load of laundry. And then after I've hung up my laundry, the stuff in the oven is ready to come out and be rinsed. It's all together. And so my bullet journal reflects that because it's really like one thing is a chore and the very next thing is a business thing. So far, so good. I haven't done today's list yet because I haven't really done anything yet. But there's different categories and ways to mark things. What happens if at month's end I haven't achieved all those things that are on my July list? Like, it tells you what to do with it, how to migrate it into the next month. And I have also other pages. You can see this one is business expenses, and this one is knit designs. So these are the designs I'm doing for the Penny Reed book. And I have different categories here. So if the pattern has been written, the prototype has been created, if it's out to test knitters, it all is in here. And the green dots are indicators of importance, like the things that have to be done next. just so that I don't have to go into my Google Docs every time to look at the list. I have it right here, and I've got it bookmarked. So, ow, that's a claw cat. Ah, wow, that was painful. So that I can see it really easily. I have these fabulous markers, because who doesn't like markers? These are Pilot G2s, but they're in all kinds of colors. So they were easy for me to use to color coordinate. I really don't want to pay you attention right now, Kat. She can't see her, but she's headbutting me every time my arm goes down. Say hi to the people, Briggs. Yeah, she's not terribly impressed. Yeah, so far it's working. I am often overwhelmed with the number of things that I have to get done, both short-term and long-term. So the bullet journal is really helping me keep the long-term in mind, and yet focus on the short-term, which sometimes I get so overwhelmed I don't do anything and I just read on the couch all day. That does happen. Not often, but it does happen. Tuesday after I got back from SSK, like I did all kinds of work on Monday, and then Tuesday, I was dead. I laid on the couch and read a book all day. It might have been Truth or Beard. What can I say? It came out like, yes, I'd read it 4 times because I'd edited it many times, but it's always nice to see the finished project. And Penny doesn't let me see the epilogue. She doesn't let anybody see the epilogue. She writes it, and then nobody sees it until it gets released. So the beta readers, they don't get to see it. That's just the way she does things. And it's kind of nice. It's kind of like an added little bonus for doing all that work. At the end, you get this little surprise. It's just sweet. So, yeah. So upcoming knitting is going to be more of that design work for Penny. I've got a lot to do. And about 9 months to do it. So it needs to get done kind of on the quick. I'm trying to let go of the idea that I need to knit the prototype before writing the pattern, because a lot of stuff I don't. Hats, mittens, things like that, socks. If you know the numbers that you need for the size, it's just a matter of writing the actual pattern down. So the dorm socks that I'm knitting, or that I've written for Happily Ever Ninja, which is Penny's next book, I did not knit the prototype. I started to, ripped it out, and sent it off to my test knitter with the pattern and said, please do this. So Monica totally took one for the team, and she's knitting them now. I think she's on the second sock. I'm pretty excited about it. So that's the process, I guess. Bullet journals. Check it out at bulletjournal.com if you're interested. I'm hoping that this will be something that I stick with. Hoping. Grabby hands. I do not have anything in grabby hands for you this week. Usually I do, but I have not purchased anything lately. I have not used any new tools, so I have nothing for you. Say until next time, happy spinning and knitting, and thanks for tuning in.
When it's just you and me and the English Channel in our cozy retreat, kept all neat and tidy, we'll have jams over every Friday by the sea. Don't you love the weather by the sea? We'll grow old together by the seaside, oh, by the beautiful sea. It'll be so quiet, they'll all come by it, except a seagull. Oh, oh, we shouldn't try it though till it's legal for 2. But a seaside wedding could be devised, me rumple bedding legitimised, me eyelids a flutter, all turn into butter, the moment I mutter, I do.